Wollt ihr nochmal den Christian an der Gitarre hören?
How do you deliver a great live performance? Today I'll show you how to best prepare yourself to put on a show that no one will forget anytime soon. Let's go! A very warm welcome to all of you. Here on YouTube there are a million equipment tips about guitars. There are 10 million guitar tutorials. How do I play faster? How do I play harmonic minor and all that other stuff? But no one truly tells you exactly how to deliver a really good, engaging live performance. But the audience down there couldn't care less about which amp you're playing, because what matters much more to them is that they want to see good entertainment. And today I'll explain to you what you need for that. Stay tuned. I got the idea for this workshop last week after a gig with my band Jukebox Hero. The conditions were ideal. We had sold 1,300 tickets. We played in an old castle in Neuleiningen. The weather was perfect, a warm summer evening. There was a professional camera crew there, 2 professional photographers, which means at the gig, if you mess something up, if you make a weird face or anything else, it all gets captured. That does create a bit of pressure, and how you can deal with it is what we'll discuss here. Towards the end, I'll show you a recording of my guitar solo and how I handle the pressure when everything is on the line, and what you can learn from it if you ever go on stage yourself. Alright, let's get to the first point, preparations. In my band we have a good one called the Concert Master. All the information from the organizer is compiled there. That means when can you get onto the premises, when is sound check, when does admission start, when is showtime, is there a break or not. This is essential for planning. When do I need to leave to be there on time? When will the others arrive? When is the technician coming? So this rough planning is really the first step. Is it an open-air event? Is it indoors? For large open-air events, for example, I take 2 speakers with me to have a bit more flexibility in creating feedback. All these aspects are important in advance to organize the day's schedule. It's best not to go to bed too late the night before, so you get enough sleep and can put on a good show. Then, of course, there's another very essential point for preparations. Practice everything until you are absolutely sure of what you're playing, so that you can play every passage, even the really difficult ones, in your sleep. This ultimately gives you the confidence and buffer on stage, so that you don't develop any fear of a particular passage, and you don't build up any physical tension or let your mind start spinning while you're on stage. I've been playing in this band for over 10 years now. Even so, before gigs, I always run through 1 or 2 passages again, just to have that extra bit of confidence. They would probably work out fine anyway, but I teach so much and learn so many songs and riffs every week that sometimes things get buried and then you can't access them spontaneously on stage. And that's a situation I just want to avoid. Point 2. Your equipment, focus on technique, backup, and reliability. I play a Kemper live, but it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to push that on anyone here. No matter what equipment you bring, it should work and it should be reliable. My middle name is Backup. I bring everything twice completely. 2 Kempers, 3 guitars, 2 wireless systems, cables, everything in duplicate. That gives me peace of mind. If something should break, I'm not left stranded and can just use my backup. I'll show you a checklist here with things you should have with you. There are some things you probably wouldn't think of, like a nail clipper, for example. I'll attach the list below as a download. Of course, it's also important that your equipment is quick and easy to set up. I'm done in no time. I think I only need 5 minutes, then my entire setup is ready and I'm good to go for the sound check. So point 3, clothing and stage presence, focusing on look, movement and confidence. Why are clothes important? Well, you probably don't want to be on stage in sweatpants and some flip-flops. The people in the audience have a certain expectation that they're going to see someone on stage who is well-groomed, maybe wearing something special that not everyone has, something that adds a bit of a show effect, but not too much. And on the other hand, not completely over the top either. You should feel comfortable, that's very important. So not too tight, not too loose. You should feel good in what you're wearing. You also need to think about the ambient temperature. If you're playing open air in the summer at 35 degrees, maybe don't wear tight vinyl pants where it could get up to 60 degrees inside them or something like that. Or on the other hand, for gigs in winter, don't wear just a short t-shirt. You shouldn't be freezing during your gig either. So just think about the weather conditions. Remember that you should feel comfortable and be able to move well. Think about wearing good shoes. There's nothing worse than super slippery shoes when you try to make a move on stage and end up slipping. Super embarrassing. Or your shoes shouldn't be too big either, so you can operate your board or effect pedals without accidentally hitting two at once. These are all aspects that are really important and can contribute to a show failing. Maybe one last thing, try to appear authentic and not like you're in costume. So your style should suit you. You shouldn't look like you're dressed up. It shouldn't look like carnival. It should somehow fit you and also reflect the sound or style of the band a bit. That's really important. Maybe also quickly coordinate with the singer and the bassist so that you don't all look completely different and the whole thing comes across as a kind of unit. Point 4, sound check and communication with the crew, a very important aspect. These people are extremely important, and if they want to, they can totally ruin your performance so that you don't come across well at all that evening. Be friendly, say thank you, say please, be patient. Appreciation is important here, as it always is in life. And of course, respectful behavior during sound check is especially important. You wait for the signal from the technician. You don't mess around with your guitar or your drums on stage at 120 decibels so that no one can talk to each other and everyone gets annoyed. You stay quiet. I always wait until I get the signal from the technician. Now it's the guitar's turn and then I play, only then, not before. Tell the technician what you need. If you need more or less of something on the monitor, if anything is off, you have to say it. The person at the mixing desk doesn't have a crystal ball. They can only react if you talk to them. Then it's best if you play 2 or 3 songs together. In my band, we also have a ritual where we always play the same 3 songs, where the respective instruments are clearly audible and you can easily judge what you need. Of course, there's also a difference depending on whether you're playing through monitors or an in-ear system. For us, we play using an in-ear system. I'll show you what that looks like here. A wonderful solution. With it, you can create your own mix in your ear. I have an iPad on my stand and can say I want a bit more floor tom or more hi-hat, or I need the lead singer a bit louder. Absolutely great. I don't get any hearing damage and I have a great mix no matter where I am on stage. Point 5, mental preparation right before the performance. Focus, stage fright, focus and rituals. A certain basic tension is completely normal. I actually think you need it in a way. This basic tension helps me focus to shut everything else out, concentrate on the next 2 hours and just be in the here and now. I wouldn't call it nervousness. I see it more as a positive kind of tension, so to speak. Personally, I like to have a bit of quiet in the last 15 minutes before going on stage. I just can't stand it when there are 10 people around me and everyone wants to talk to me. I like to withdraw a little then, preferably backstage, and hope that it's not too busy there. That helps me focus even more. As for rituals, definitely warming up. I play a few scales or some chromatic exercises so my fingers get supple and my hands are warm. Then there's another little ritual. In the band, we usually have a shot of nut schnapps together. It's really funny. It kind of strengthens our sense of togetherness, that we're a team and we're about to really go for it and have a great experience together. Point 6, taking the stage, presence and energy, focus, performance, charisma, and show. When you step onto the stage, you have to leave insecurity and lack of self-confidence backstage. Because nobody wants to see a musician on stage who looks down at the ground, who seems insecure, or who just stares at their neck the whole time. So you could just put a piece of paper in front of them and say, stand there for the next 90 minutes. No, people want to see a good show, they want to be entertained, and they want to experience confident musicians on stage. Pay attention to making eye contact with the audience. Don't look at your instrument, look forward in a relaxed way, smile at the people, they can feel that you're having fun, and that's really important. I actually get messages on a regular basis, I have to say, from people who were at concerts. Just recently again, a woman wrote to me, Christian, it was great. You smiled so much during the concert and it was wonderful to see how much joy you have making music and how you interact with your fellow musicians with such fun. That's also really important. People can sense whether you enjoy what you're doing, whether you bring passion to it, whether it's fun or not. That's 1,000 times more important than playing every lick 100% perfectly, because that's the impression people get from you. So appear relaxed, smile sometimes, and don't look so tense among yourselves. That's also really important. Move around, go forward, go back, go up to the keyboard player. When the singer has their part, step back a little because the singer is then at the front and the central figure. These are all little things, but together they make a huge difference. I've learned all this over hundreds or thousands of gigs over the years, and I've paid my dues along the way. By now, things are running smoothly, and that's why we're talking about it. Point 7. If something goes wrong, react live like a pro. Focus, mistakes, technical issues, mishaps, spontaneity. We're all not machines. Every one of us makes more or fewer mistakes during a live gig. The worst thing you can do is let it show when you've made a mistake while playing. Most of the time, people don't even notice it and only realize it because of your facial expressions or gestures. If you look down awkwardly or do something like that, maybe even laugh about it. I always say, I do it like the penguins in Madagascar, smile and wave, that's what they see. But if a phrasing didn't quite fit, nobody notices that. Most of the time it's the same for me. When I play live and something doesn't go the way I wanted, and then I hear it later on video, I think to myself, actually it's so minimal, I really didn't need to get upset about it inside. That brings me to the next point. Getting upset about it internally. Try not to carry a mistake with you if you make one. I'm not particularly good at that myself yet. Sometimes when something happens to me live, I get annoyed for the rest of the song, then in the next song I'm still annoyed about it, and then the next mistake happens because I wasn't focused. You have to try to push it aside, breathe it out, smile and wave as I said, and not let it show. Take it with humor. If you laugh about it, people usually find that quite likable. If you mess up a verse or something, just try to get back into it, or use the old trick, play the mistake again, then people will think it was intentional and might forgive you more easily, and of course, just keep playing. Don't let a mistake throw you off, support the band, keep playing, finish the song, and start the next one with a smile. Point 8. After the gig, review and reflect. Look back, learn and maintain your contacts. Try not to focus only on the negative things after the gig, but also enjoy the positives, because the negatives are usually just a tiny fraction. Enjoy what you have achieved. Enjoy the camaraderie with your band. Enjoy the people who are celebrating you. It's worth it, and you've earned it. Of course, a few days later, it's best to reflect, learn from it, maybe do things better next time, watch videos, analyze videos. What can be improved for next time? Then, very important, thank the crew, lighting, sound setup and teardown helpers. Then get in touch with the organizer again, get some brief feedback, and of course always say goodbye. Very important, pack up your equipment safely and turn everything off. Wow, that was a lot of stuff just now. To wrap things up, I'll show you my guitar solo from the gig in Nuliningen. It was a lot of fun. The crowd went absolutely wild. Now you also know why I've been holding onto my gold top the whole time, because I played it in the following solo. Have fun with it.
Wollt ihr nochmal den Christian an der Gitarre hören? Ich glaube, wir haben den ersten Fanclub hiervon. Also der nächste Song ist, ja, ich erzähl gar nicht. Lasst euch überraschen.
this point, I also want to give a heartfelt thank you to my entire band, fantastic musicians. I'm truly very proud to be able to play with these people, both musically and personally. Our two technicians, Stefan and Mark, then Tim and Hans, the photographers, Pascal for the videos, and of course Franco with his wonderful agency who always gets us amazing gigs. All right, dear ones, that was my workshop on how to prepare professionally for a gig, what you need to pay attention to, and what you should consider in advance. I really hope your next gig will be a smash hit. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you if you learned something from this workshop. Feel free to give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. I would really appreciate it if you help me increase the channel's reach. All right, all that's left for me to say is, have fun at your next gig. I'm off to work on the next workshop and I'll see you next week.